Let's talk about it with Joel Griffith, who's an economist, senior fellow at Advancing American Freedom. Joel, what would you say about all of this? Because we had, it was a different kind of tone the last couple of days, especially yesterday from the president on China and what could have been coming for the economy.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Well, I'm pleased to see President Trump beginning to surrender on this errant trade policy. Anytime we're talking about tariffs, whether they're labeled on Chinese imports or imports from Europe, these are taxes that fall directly on American families and businesses. And with China, look, I'll be the first to acknowledge, of course, that China has committed intellectual property theft. There's a lot of concerns with their government subsidies of businesses, and these need to be addressed. But putting in place very broad, sky-high tariffs on all imports, regardless of whether those concerns are involved, this is a mistake. And we're importing nearly $600 billion a year from China. That's around $7,000 per family per year. If you increase taxes on those products by 125%, those products are either going to double in price or you have to find them elsewhere. But just as importantly, we export tens of billions of dollars a year, particularly in the agricultural sector. Those exports now are going to plunge because China has retaliated, and that is going to hurt farmers all across the heartland.
Farmers are going to get hit. To your point, goods coming in, it was basically going to freeze trade is what a lot of people seem to have been telling the president. You're going to end up with empty store shelves. So you got to have a new approach. Let me listen again to what he said or how he's describing his approach now, and then maybe you and I can talk about what you think comes next. Here's the president.
Can you clarify, Mr. President, on China?
Yeah, we are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing.
So there he seems to indicate there are talks underway. Yesterday it seemed like they hadn't started yet. But be that as it may, what about what they should be talking about in the near future with China? First we thought maybe they're going to get deals with all these other countries, then get to China last. Is that changing?
No, here's what's happening. We actually see China in talks now with our allies of South Korea and Japan to put in place their own trade deal. And these are our allies. We should be pursuing free trade, of course, with free countries, and we're not doing so. And I want to look at the numbers. We've seen so much loss with these fake formulas that are being promoted by the White House to determine what our reciprocal tariffs will be. Here's the fact. China actually has been expanding the openness of their marketplace over the past 30 years. They are still levying tariffs overall that are higher than ours. The average tariff that China is placing on imports is around 3.3%. Our tariff average is around 2.2%. So certainly there's room for improvement. But to levy a so-called reciprocal tariff of 125% when the tariff they're levying is 3%, doesn't make a lot of sense. And to the extent that we're actually trying to address these very real concerns about IP theft and the subsidization by the Chinese Communist Party of businesses, we should be laying out clear guidelines, what we hope to achieve.
Right.
Any tariffs should be gradually put in place and they need to be targeted. And this underscores the importance of Congress being involved. Congress has the constitutional authority, the only constitutional authority to impose tariffs. What President Trump is doing, what prior presidents have done, including President Biden, is unlawful, is unconstitutional. Congress needs to take its power back and provide some certainty.
I was going to say, he's not the first president because this has been happening for a while. Congress kind of gave up on that authority that they did have, to your point, years ago. It doesn't seem, I know they've talked about getting it back, but I don't know that that's going to be our answer in the short term. I think what the market likes today is not only Trump's comments, and maybe the Jay Powell stuff has something to do with it. He's taken that, seems like, off the table. Okay, we get it. But also the idea, it seems to me at least, and let's see what you think of it, that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who does have some trust on Wall Street, unlike, I would argue, maybe the president himself and other members of his administration, seems to kind of be in charge. He made interesting comments today. He was talking about how America first does not mean America alone, and explained it this way. Here's the Treasury Secretary.
I think U.S. engagement with the international financial and multilateral institutions, we should engage, and we should be in it to win it for the American people and for the rest of the countries and for the client countries.
All right. Joel, thoughts on that? We're not going it alone, says Scott Bessent.
Well, it's certainly encouraging to see more of Scott Bessent in the press and to think that he is the presidency here, because I'll tell you what, the economic mythology promoted by leading trade economist Peter Navarro, who is also a presidential advisor, it's very disturbing when we saw what happened with the marketplace every time Peter Navarro was on TV. And that's because he has embraced for decades economic mythology, and Pete Navarro has continued to peddle this mythology of our middle class being hollowed out, of our manufacturing sector disintegrating. It's simply not true. So I do think it's encouraging to see Secretary Bessent taking a far more reasonable approach. Although, look, even if we take back these reciprocal tariffs and keep in place this 10% tariff baseline, that still is going to be a drag on economic growth.
Yeah, he said they're not going to zero, but they'll come down substantially, but not unilaterally. So they want China to move and do something first. So we'll see where we go from here.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.